This is part 2 of a two-part series on locking and unlocking categories. In the first part, we discussed how to simply lock and unlock a category using this lock symbol here. In this video, we're going to take a little deeper dive into what locking means, and we're also going to look at the two playback modes available, which are seamless and as is. The first thing I want to mention that a category is only available for playback when it is locked. So when I unlock this demo, it is not shown in the player and not available for playback. The second thing you need to be aware of is that there are some operations you can perform on a category while it's locked, while others you cannot unless it is unlocked. And I'm going to demonstrate that right now. So for instance, we have a title here, Fool's Company 2. Well, I'm just going to make that Fool's Company by deleting 2. And you can see that I did not unlock the demo to do that. The other thing is I can add a tag. So I'll add comfortable. The tag was added. I can turn it off, all with the category being locked. There are other operations that require the category to be unlocked in order to perform. And one of them is switching the read online and offline. So if I click online, I get this alert panel, which tells me I need to unlock this category. Got it. I also cannot delete while the category is locked. Got it. So now we've looked at the operations that can be performed when a category is locked or unlocked. Now we're going to talk about playback mode. And in order to do that, we're going to first unlock the category. And then we're going to lock it up again. And that gives us this confirmation panel. And there's a selection that needs to be made called playback mode. I'm going to hover over this eye icon, which gives us two little descriptions about these two modes, and I'm going to describe them briefly here and then go into depth. The first one is as is mode, and as is mode is exactly what it says. The MP3 file that you've uploaded will be played exactly as is. So for instance, if you've added silence on the head or tail of that MP3 file, it will be played in the player. On the other hand, seamless mode's a little different. When a category is in seamless playback mode, any silence that's been added to an MP3 will be stripped during playback. And that's desirable when you have something like a commercial demo or character where you've got transitions between the reads that need to be maintained. In as-is mode, sometimes you want to add a little silence to the end of your audiobook or narration to give the listener some emotional pause or space between reads. So let's demonstrate and see how that works. Here we have our audiobook, and we have a read called Test, A Window to Heaven, and I said plus 2 seconds. That means in my editor I've added 2 seconds of silence to A Window to Heaven. So let's play that back and listen for it.
This is from
I'm going to jump to the end.
Singing. Then she laid back on her pillow and died.
There it was. That was the 2 seconds that I added to the MP3 playing at the end. So let's lock this demo as is and play it back in the player using a Zamlink.
This is from A Window to Heaven, heard such beautiful singing. Then she laid back on her pillow and died. This is from Fool's
There's
Company.
the 2 seconds. And that's that emotional space that I've added so that the listener has a pause between each of the different audiobook reads. Now let's try this. Let's lock it up in seamless mode. It's going to take a little longer in seamless mode because the processor is scanning through the file to remove the silence from the head and tail of each read. So the more reads you have, the longer it takes. And we'll create a Zamlink and play it back.
This is from
Jump to the end.
I've never heard such beautiful singing. Then she laid back on her pillow and died. This is from Fool's
Notice
Company
what happened.
by Robert.
It jumped right to the next read.
This
Play
is
that
from
again.
I've never heard such beautiful singing. Then she laid back on her pillow and died. This is from Fool's Company.
And the reason is the VoiceSam player saw that this category is in seamless playback, so it stripped any silence on the head and tail of those MP3s. So let's perform the same comparison on a category that I know needs to be seamless, and that's my commercial category right here. I've opened it up. Here are all the reads. So each one of these reads has a transition into the next that needs to be maintained. Well, I've already got this set up as is, so let's play it back using a Zamlink and see what happens. What I want you to do is listen to the end of each read as it concludes and listen for a slight gap. You may not be able to hear it on some, but some you can.
After 18 months spending just science and business management.
By the power vested in you last in.
For comfort and
Hear that?
care. You see, it's not night. The sleep number bed. It's
There's
shiny.
a little gap there.
It's an express.
So watch the Super Bowl Sears.
The #1 prescription up to 24 hours. The legend is real.
Okay, the gaps are very slight, almost inaudible, but it's very critical that we don't have them during seamless playback. So why are these gaps occurring between MP3 files? Well, here's what's happening. Lossy audio compression schemes like MP3, they add a small amount of padding or silence to the head and the tail of each track. It equates to about 30 to 40 milliseconds per side, which gives you about 70, 80 milliseconds between tracks, and that's why you hear a gap. You won't see this type of problem on lossless formats like AIF or WAV files. So let's set this category up as it should be, and that is seamless. So I'm going to unlock the category, lock it back up, choose seamless. And as it locks, it's going to be scanning through each one of these reads, looking for gaps between them and stripping that out. Now we can play it. Create a ZAM link. Listen how smooth this
After
is.
18 months science and business management.
By the power vested in you begin.
For comfort and
gaps.
care. You see, it's not the sleep number bed. It's shiny.
And that's the difference between as is and seamless playback modes. So when you put up reads for long form formats like audiobooks or explainers, we recommend using as is mode. For reads that are part of mixed down demos with transitions, then we recommend seamless.